Revere by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow.
Listen, my children, and you shall hear of the midnight ride of Paul Revere. On the 18th of April in 75, hardly a man is now alive who remembers that famous day and year.
He said to his friend in the British march, by land or sea from town tonight, hang your lantern aloft in the belfry arch of the North Church towers a signal light. One if by land and two if by sea, and I on the opposite shore will be, ready to ride and spread the alarm through every mill, sex, village, and farm, and the country folk to be up into arms.
Then he said goodnight and with muffled oar silently rowed to the Charleston shore, just as the moon was over the bay, where swinging wide at her moorings lay the Somerset, British man of war, a phantom ship with each mast and spar.
Across the moon like a prison bar, and a huge black hulk that was magnified by its own reflection in the tide. Meanwhile, spread through alley and street, wanders and watches with eager ears, till in silence around me hears the muster of men at the barrack door, a sound of arms and tramp of feet, and the measured tread of renegades marching down their boats on the shore. Then he climbed the tower of the Old North Church by the wooden stairs with stealthy tread to the belfry chamber overhead, and startled the pigeons from their perch on the somber rafters that round him made masses and moving shapes of shade by the trembling ladders steep and tall to the highest window in the wall.
Where he paused to listen and looked down, a moment on the roofs of the town, and the moonlight flowing over all. Beneath in the churchyard lay the dead, in their night encampment on the hill, wrapped in silence so deep and still that he could hear like a sentinel tread.
The watchful night wind as it went creeping along from tent to tent, seeming to whisper, all is well. A moment only he feels the spell of the place and the hour and the secret dread of the lonely belfry and the dead. For suddenly all his thoughts are bent on a shadowy something far away, where the river widens to meet the bay, a line of black that bends and floats on the rising tide like a bridge boat.
Meanwhile, impatient to mount and ride, rooted and spurred with a heavy stride, on the opposite shore walked Paul Revere.
Now we pat his horses aside, now we gaze at the landscape far and near, then impetuous stamp the earth and turn and tame his saddle girth. But mostly he watched with eager search the belfry tower of the Old North Church as it rose above the Gravesend Hill, lonely and spectral and somber and still. And low as he looks on the belfry's height, a glimmer and then a gleam of light. He springs to the saddle, the bridle he turns, the lingers and views the whole of the sight. A second lamp in the belfry burns.
A hurry up close in the village street, a shape in the moonlight, a bulk in the dark, and beneath from the pebbles in passing, a spark, struck out by a steep line fearless and fleet. That was all, and yet, through the gloom and the light, the fate of a nation was riding that night.
And the spark struck out by the steepest flight, kindled the leaden flame as his feet. He has left the village and mounted the steep, and beneath him, tranquil, broad and deep, is the mystic meeting the ocean tides. And under the alders that skirt its edge, now soft in the sand, now loud in the ledge, is heard the tramp of his steepsy rise.
It was 12 by the village clock. When he crossed the bridge into Medford town, he heard the crowing of the cock and the barking of the farmer's dog, and felt the damp of the river fog that rises after the sun goes down.
It was 1 by the village clock when he galloped into Lexington. He saw the gilded weathercock swim in the moonlight as he passed, and the meeting-house windows, black and bare, gazed at him with a spectral glare, as if they ready stood aghast at the bloody work they would look upon.
It was 2 by the village clock when he came to the bridge in Concord town. He heard the bleating of the flock and the barking of a farmer's dog,
And the twitter of a bird among the trees, and felt the breath of the morning breeze blowing over the meadow brown. And one was safe and asleep in his bed, who at the bridge would be first to fall, who that day would be lying dead, pierced by a British musket ball. You know the rest in the books you have read, how the British regulars fired and fled, how the farmers gave them ball for ball from behind each fence and farmyard wall.
Cheating the red coats down the lane, then crossing the field to emerge again, under the trees at the turn of the road, and only pausing to fire and load.
So through the night rode Paul Revere, till through the night went his cry of alarm, to every mill-site, village, and farm. A cry of defiance and not of fear, a voice in the darkness, a knock at the door, and a word that shall echo forevermore. We're born in the night wind of the past, through all our history choose last. In the hour of darkness and peril need, the people will waken and listen to hear the hurrying heartbeats of that seed and the midnight message of Paul Revere.